Today, we jump into the fun stuff. We are on step number 3 of building a trade system, and this is where we get to build the actual strategy. We have come up with a trade theory, and we have built a scanner that returns stocks which fits that theory, and today we get to create a strategy to make money on that theory. Before we jump into it, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the next parts coming up. And let's jump into the video. I utilize code within ThinkorSwim in order to create my strategies so that I can automate my backtesting. It really helps speed up the progress, but this series is not going to be a coding series. I've already created the strategy. We're not going to sit here and talk about the code too much. If you would like to learn how to code in Thinkscript, I've actually already published my full course for free here on YouTube. I'll put a card up in the top right now. Or if you just don't have time to learn how to code, I understand that. Navigate over to my website, daytradingstrategies.net. First link at the top of the description where you can get access to all of my already created and proven strategies. Anyway, in part 2 of this series, we created a scanner which matched our trade theory. And that trade theory was that we want to create a swing trade continuation strategy for low float stocks. And the indicator that we utilized to determine within our scan that a stock is strong is that if the percent change of the last 14 bars, that's the default length of this indicator, is above 10. So you need to make sure that in your strategy, you are including exactly what was included in your scanner so that you are not cheating, so that it's trading all the right types of stocks. It's only taking the trade if the stock would be on the scanner, right? That's why we build the scanner first, and that's why we then build a strategy now based off the back of that scanner. So it's going to take a $5,000 position when the percent change crosses above 10, and then it's going to sell when the current bar closes below the low of previous bar. And you're looking at this code, and when I just talked about the strategy, you're saying, Trey, that's extremely simple. That's a very simple strategy. Is that really going to work? The beginning stage, the first step of building a strategy is to keep it simple. Let's see if we can get it to pass the eye test. Let's do some quick optimization here to see how we can improve it. And then as we jump into the more in-depth back testing, we're going to do a lot more in-depth optimizations. But for right now, we're going to take what we got and we're going to do some quick optimizations to make it as good as we can so that we're not wasting so much time in the more in-depth optimizations with stuff that we already can figure out doesn't work a little bit faster. So let's jump into the next part. So the way I do my quick optimization is maybe a little bit jammy. It's maybe not the sexiest way to do it. You might be able to find a better way, but all I can do is tell you what I do, right? I open an Excel sheet and I'm going to go through and down the first 15 stocks that are returned on this scanner, and I'm going to write the P&L according to percent change 10 right now, because that's the indicator that I'm going to work on changing. That's really the only variable indicator we have in right now is the percent change. So what we're going to do is I'm going to write down the floating P&L of these 15 stocks, 4% change 10, and then we're going to change it to 20, we're going to change it to 30, we're going to change it to 5, and we're going to see which one gives us the best results. That is the easiest way to do some variable optimization. So I'm going to do that now. We're not going to do all that on video and bore you. I'll be right back with the results. Actually, I changed my mind. Let me run through at least a couple with you so that you can see real examples of what I'm talking about. This floating P&L indicator down here in the bottom represents what your strategy that you have coded into your chart would be up or down, obviously based on the entrances or exits. And I am running this on the daily chart on a maximum time frame. So you're not just seeing the trades, the last trade being taken, you're seeing any time any of these volatile stocks have been over the 10% change entered and then exiting on the first candle to exit below the previous candle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my Excel sheet over to my other monitor and I'm just going to write down what the P&L is. So MYO is 49.14. SHOT is 40.66. DRCT is up 11.637, which is really nice. This stock is on a huge run right now. ASPI up 54.82. And let's do one more. AAOI is up 87.96. I'm going to continue running down the Excel sheet with this, and then I'm going to run it on percent change 20 and percent change 30, just so we can get a quick eye test of which variable works the best. So here are all the results from percent change 10, 20, and 30. I do believe at some point earlier in the video, I said I was going to do percent change 5, but you cannot do that. And why can't you? Because we have run a scanner where we know stocks have a minimum percent change of 10. You can't then go enter trades on a smaller percent change because you know those stocks have made bigger percent changes, if that makes sense. That would be a huge cheat. So that's something you really have to make sure. And I'm talking a lot about cheating your back testing because it's something that you can very easily do. And it's something that I want to make sure you're obviously not doing. You will see a lot of dramatized back test. Oh, this made 300,000% in the last 6 years. It's almost always, if not always, cheating when you see stuff like that. And I'm trying to point everything out to you that I can't see. So these are all the results from 10, 20, and 30 on the percent change. And what I have highlighted are outliers. So if I show you this LPTX outlier on percent change 10, it is because it caught this massive gap. This is a massive gap up on when the stock was trading extremely light volume. It caught a huge gap, and a similar example on CXDO, just massive, massive gaps that were caught that don't really point a lot to how good the strategy actually is, how well or bad the strategy actually is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these values. I'm going to delete these values, and I'm going to delete these values. We're not going to consider those in the end test because you're getting extreme outliers that don't really point to the significance of the indication change here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to sum these values. Indicator sum of this equals that equals sum of this. And this is just how we're going to gross compare, hey, which one of these performs the best. And in no way does that necessarily mean this is the perfect way that we should go, but this is how you save yourself time in the in-depth back testing. So the percent change 10 on the top 15 stocks returns $40,000. Percent change 20 on the top 15 stocks returns $46,000. Percent change 30 on the top 16 stocks returns $34,000. Remember, over the maximum daily time frame of all these stocks. So it's a ton of trades. Don't look at these numbers like, oh my God, Trey, you only putting in $5,000 and look at all the money you're getting. It's over the lifespan of these stocks. And also don't forget that I am looking at stocks that have been on the scanner for the longest. I have a custom indicator here that puts up the stocks that have been strongest for the longest. So it is slightly cheating in that way. You're looking at stocks that you know have been strong lately, but for this part, for this amount of optimization, that's kind of what I want. I want to be looking at, hey, which stocks perform the best on the strongest stocks? Which indications perform the best on the strongest stocks? The next step, once again, I keep saying this, but when we get into the more in-depth back testing, we're going to change that up and you'll see a little bit. But for right now, I'm okay with it looking at, hey, these stocks have been really strong. What's the best way to take advantage of this strength, right? So that is the quick optimization. And let me talk about a little bit about another thing you could do. Another thing you could do is you could come in here and you can run that same quick optimization for the exit strategy. Well, instead of close below low, let's do close below close. This, that, and the other. The only reason I'm not going to do that, one, I don't have a ton of time. This doesn't need to be the most in-depth thing ever. This is just for a quick video series I'm putting together. And two, I know this works fairly well. For my hundreds of hours of already doing stuff like this, already building strategies, I know for a buy and hold swing trade strategy like this, just selling when the close breaks below the low of previous candle works pretty well, and that is one of the better optimized way to do it versus close less than open, close less than close, or open less than close, those kind of variations. I've already done that testing. I've done a lot of that testing, and that's important to understand. I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this stuff, and when you start building strategies, it's very difficult because you don't know anything, right? Yet you don't know what works and what doesn't. And that's kind of a beauty of system trading, a beauty of spending all the time building these strategies, is you start to just learn what works. When you are given a blank slate, when you have nothing in front of you, you can slap together a strategy that is going to at least work all right because you have ideas in your head already of what does work that you can piece together. So that's just a little tidbit there on the end. But I think that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. We have slapped together a strategy that for the eye test of our scanner looks all right. We have done some quick optimization of it, and the next video we're going to get into the in-depth optimization of it, and that's where a lot of the hard work but a lot of the fun starts to jump in as well. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Make sure you like the video. If you made it this far, you must have enjoyed it. So please just scroll down and hit like. And once again, if you want access to all of my already created codes, daytradingstrategies.net, link at the top of the description down below. Go check that out. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign out of this video. I will catch you all in the next one.